Should you ride a disc wheel in your next triathlon? Hi, I am retired professional triathlete TJ Tollakson, CEO of Dimond Bikes, and today I'm going to answer that question for you. I just got back from Ironman, Texas. It was a hot, windy day, and as those of you who know Ironman, Texas, it is a crazy fast bike course on the Hardy Toll Road. And every year, hundreds of people come up to me in the expo and ask me this same question: should I ride a disc wheel? And the short answer to this is yes. Yes, you should ride a disc wheel. Now, the long answer is a little more complicated than that because there are some ifs, ands, or buts. But I would tell anybody who is racing Ironman Texas, yes, you should ride a disc. What's the no then? Well, the no should be if your goal is to just finish the Ironman and you care nothing about how long it takes you or your time or your finish place or anything else, then you don't need to spend the money on a disc wheel. But that being said, a disc wheel is definitely faster, and it could be 2 minutes faster, it could be 12 minutes faster than whatever you're riding currently. And so maybe at the end of that Ironman, you're just thinking, oh man, wouldn't it have been nice to have been done 12 minutes ago instead of now? I could be eating pizza in the recovery tent. Yes, that would be nice. And all you had to do for the same exact output was to put one of these on your bike and then bam, you were done 12 minutes earlier. Wouldn't that be nice, right? The other if would be, are you doing a triathlon that the bike portion is fully uphill? When I mean fully uphill, I mean you're climbing a mountain and you're not going back down it. Because if that is the case, if you're going uphill only, then yes, the weight matters and you can use a different wheel besides a disc. But even then, the grade that you're going uphill would determine as well as your average speed. So I'm not going to give you the definitive because if you were just riding a mountain that was a 2% grade, my guess is the speed might be fast enough to warrant using a disc wheel. And our friends at bestbikesplit.com could actually help us determine when that is necessary and when it's not necessary, but I would use that for any race I was going to do. But the answer for me, again, has been every time I've been allowed to run a disc wheel, I've done it. The best pros in the world always run a disc wheel. The biggest reason is it's faster. A disc wheel is faster than a non-disc wheel, and the reason for that is very simple. When air hits this, none of it is going through it, it's going right past this, okay? So there's no drag from the spokes. So every spoke that we have in the wheel is about 1 gram of drag at 30 miles per hour in the wind tunnel. So there's no spokes to create more drag. And then if you're on a bike like a Dimond that's super aerodynamically fast, but also does not have seat stays on it, then especially in a crosswind, these babies are like a sail on a racing sailboat and they will propel you forward. So some things that make a disc fast. So if you look, I've got a red crown disc without any decals on it, but you'll see that the non-drive side that I have in my hand here is very lenticular. So a lenticular disc is faster than a flat disc because again, it acts like a sail on a sailboat and pushes it forward. So you'll notice that it's very lenticular on the non-drive side, and on the drive side, it's only slightly lenticular. And that's one of the benefits that's actually happened with the wider axle spacing. So with 142 through axle spacing, we're able to get a little bit of the lenticular shape on the non-drive side. There are a lot of discs out there that are flat. And just because it's flat doesn't mean it's fast, but a lenticular disc is faster than a flat disc. A little trickier to manufacture and has some complications with that. But it is faster. So if you're on a bike like this and you see this disc wheel, man, it's fast. You should be riding one, even if it's only for the fact that you want to be at the finish 12 minutes faster than you would if you didn't ride this. So aren't disc wheels banned at some races? Like, aren't they really dangerous? Aren't I going to blow off my bike? I mean, Texas was really windy. So should I consider it not just from a safety perspective? All right, look, yes, disc wheels are banned in Hawaii for both Kona and the Honi 70.3, but I believe this is unfairly so, right? It's been this way for a long time. I feel like disc wheels have a bad reputation for this, and the reality is the disc wheel, because it sits behind and your weight is over this disc, it is going to push you some, but is less likely to cause a bike crash than this deep front wheel that you see right here. This front wheel at 88 millimeters deep is one of the deeper ones people race with. 100 is like one of the deepest that you'll see people use. Those wheels are deeper and more dangerous because they negatively affect the bike handling even more. There's less weight over the front, so when you ride and the wind blows, the wheel moves like this because it's on the fork. The back wheel is fixed in, and so it's much less likely to move or disrupt your handling or service when you ride. So I don't think disc wheels should actually be banned in Kona, but they are, so you can't use it. So you come up with another alternative, a deep dish wheel in the back, a tri-spoke, your choice. But the deeper the wheel in the back, the faster it's gonna be. The same as the front. Now, if you could run a disc wheel in the front, there are lots of cases where you would see athletes doing that because it is faster. And you do see athletes on the track racing with a double disc setup, but it's not allowed in triathlon. You gotta have space in there. It's required by the rules. And that one, for safety-wise, does make sense. So that's what I would tell you. If you're allowed to, you should do it. I would also say that I think it's unfair, especially for the pros, that they have banned discs in Hawaii. But again, I don't make the rules, I just have to follow them. What about the added weight? I get asked that all the time. Well, this wheel's heavier than my other wheels, so it's gonna slow me down. These bikes aren't made to be weight weenies, they're made to be aerodynamic machines. And so the aerodynamics trumps the weight every time in a triathlon race. And so it doesn't really matter about the weight increase. The aerodynamics are what matter. You should stick to the aerodynamics. This is a faster wheel, run it. The last one, we talked about the expense. Yes, disc wheels are crazy expensive. $2,400 for this carbon masterpiece right here.
No dough, no show.
So you could spend a lot of money on a disc wheel. That being said, there are cheaper options that are nearly as effective. And many people don't know this, but I'm going back in the archives right here. And the first carbon fiber product I actually made and sold was the Dynamis disc wheel cover by ltcycles.com. My cousin Eric Lambie and I started this company while I was in college, made these carbon fiber disc wheel covers, super cool. These were actually, the Dynamis is the power reference to this. These were actually made for power tap rear wheels. The power tap was one of the first affordable power meters. It was in the rear hub of the bike. And most of the time you would have that power tap hub laced to a Mavic Open Pro box rim. And so this was a cool way to do it. Obviously this is over 20 years old at this point, but it's got Velcro so hook and loop, and this loop side of the Velcro is on the rim of the disc cover, and the hook side was on the wheel. You would just Velcro it on, pull it off to race. It was really easy. The hard part was the flat side had to go on under your cassette. There'd be a little bit of rubbing, but you know, for a couple $100, you could save yourself quite a bit of time. So it was a cool little thing. And again, I was using this because I wanted to race with a power meter instead of a disc wheel, and that was the only power meter that was available. Fast forward today, you can buy a power meter for way less, that's way more accurate, way more reliable than that power tab. But I was an early adopter of their technology, and that's what happens. And so the Dynamis disc was born. Now, this product is no longer available, but you could still buy disc wheel covers, usually plastic, for a couple $100, attach it to your wheel, bam, you've got a disc wheel, it's faster. You may not look as cool, but you're gonna say, hey, you know what? I'm not as cool, but I'm on a budget, I'm being thrifty, this is what I have. I got no problem with that. I was one, started out with this same piece of equipment, so you can have this for now and aspire someday to own the real deal yourself, because while this is cool and effective, I will tell you one of the best things about a disc wheel is you can just hear the whir of the wind when you ride by somebody, and it's one of the coolest things in the sport of triathlon. So that's it. Yes, ride a disc wheel. And if you're buying a disc wheel, the Red Crown Cycling Pearl is the fastest disc wheel you can buy. It's superior aerodynamics, lenticular shape, and of course cool looks with the 18K weave on it are awesome. It's also super lightweight in terms of how disc wheels go, and it's very, very durable. It's got a removable carbon valve cover, so you don't need to mess around with the tape like this stuff to cover your valve. And if you need the best bespoke bicycle to race that disc wheel with, check out the full line of Dimond Bikes at dimondbikes.com.
Thank you very much.